Guys, there's an old saying, the grass is greener where you water it. And that means you're going to create your own opportunities. And if things look bad, it's up to you to make them better. But it takes time, it takes effort, it takes patience. Some people are not patient. They believe that they can get better on the outside market. And typically people can get better on the outside market if they have what the market is looking for. But if you don't have what the market is looking for, you're going to be very disappointed simply because you just couldn't get the job done. And when it came to Tia Mowry, she felt that Corey Hardrick was typically beneath her. And we all know the stories of that. She was then going on the TV shows talking about how she graduated from marriage.
You actually see this as
a celebration.
A celebration.
I really do. I look at it as one of my friends, she sent this beautiful letter to me from a woman who got a divorce. And it's all about, you know, this perspective, in my opinion, and just changing the narrative. You know, my marriage was a success.
Yeah.
I look at it as like a curriculum when you're in college or high school, right? You're learning, you're growing, you're evolving, you're creating. And I was able to create with Corey some beautiful, amazing children. Yeah. And at the end of that curriculum, and at the end, there's a graduation.
Then we went from graduating from marriage to being completely down bad.
Is it harder than you thought it was going to be?
What?
Like just dating in general.
Oh yeah, I mean, because I never dated before, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. But yeah, I definitely think it's harder, you know, than I thought. But I am optimistic.
Then after being down bad, she went and talked about how bad the dating market was. Now, again, it's important that in any particular economy, you have what the seller is looking for at that price. And that's something that's the basic business. People must desire what you have. It's the number one thing that you have to know in business. You can drive the price up to whatever you want it to be. But if nobody wants to pay that, you don't have very much to offer, okay? And Tia Mowry found that out, but she really didn't want to admit that she was the issue.
Relationship when dating was, you know, when I was, you know, dating this person, it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was wonderful. There was courting that was, you know, involved. And I was saying how I feel like that's no longer, you know, present, meaning like people just don't court each other anymore. And this person was like, well, you know, that's old news. Like people just don't do that anymore. There's just this whole new way of doing things. And I'm like, you mentioned tradition, you know, and I think that's where it kind of needs to go back to, you know, where, you know, a man is courting a woman and showing her, you know, how much he appreciates.
So let's get to the point about Tasha K. Now, Tasha K, despite being a person that the majority of us might believe like, yo, I would never be friends with her if I was a celebrity, people do talk to her. Tasha K gets a lot of information, a lot of inside things, a whole lot of stuff, right? So Tasha K is known in the industry. And she talks to a lot of people, including Corey Hardrick herself. She asked Corey Hardrick for an interview. Of course, Corey Hardrick declined. And, you know, Corey Hardrick has been such a great man, a positive influence doing his thing. Now, we all know that Tia Mowry has been having issues dating, and having those issues dating, you know, Corey Hardrick didn't say much. He continued on doing everything else, even though she had that reality show series, basically dogging Corey Hardrick. He went on about his way, made all that money with Tyler Perry and those films and all that, while Tia Mowry was using him for clout on the My Next Act season, all right? And the majority of that was about Corey Hardrick. Here's where it's interesting, okay? Tasha K was asking Corey, would he come on for an interview? He was like, hell no, I'm not gonna do that. You know, I don't want to hurt my kids. You know, thinking about Tia Mowry and all the stuff that she had to do. Now, here's where it's interesting, okay? Tasha K recently reached out to Corey Hardrick. Here's what happened.
We told you. Tia, we told you wasn't nothing out here, girl. We told you that. We told you. Corey, the best you gonna get, girl. The best I ever had. Let me tell you. No, he took her back. I asked him, and I was like, Corey, you took her back? He just read the message. Normally, he respond to me, but he knows she don't like me. So he ain't responding now. His wife back in the house. She reading all DMs and everything.
So a whole bunch of blogs are breaking the story that Tia Mowry and Corey Hardrick had gotten back together. And then Tasha K is actually the first person to indicate that Corey Hardrick is no longer responding to her messages anymore. She asked him flat out, listen, is you and Tia back? You took her back, Corey? He ain't responding. What does that mean? It means yes, okay? Most likely. So don't be shocked if you see Tia Mowry and Corey Hardrick back together. Obviously, he still got love for her, but they also have children and things like that. Let me just say this. This is important. A lot of men got to understand, the class that he had with handling this. I know a lot of dudes would have threw her under the bus. A lot of dudes would have been mad. But here's what happens, man. Being a man is a very powerful thing. It's not always going to be easy. It's going to hurt. You're going to deal with people who don't appreciate you and do what you do and be the man that you're supposed to be, which is being stable, being consistent, and also being persistent. This is what's going to happen, right? Being a man. And sometimes women are not going to appreciate that. But the reality of it is that it's going to be hard for many women if they come across a really great man. You can pretty much bet on it that it's going to be very difficult, if you're being honest with yourself, for a woman to come out and replace you. Okay? It's going to be difficult. Most women believe that they can replace a good man. Some can do it, not many, okay? Because a lot of quote unquote great men out there, and I'm talking about a woman who might be attracted to you, wants to, you have the money, you have the opportunity, you have the time. A man really changes the opportunities in a woman's life. I don't care in any era, any age. And I always tell this story. Y'all don't get mad at the story. I'm going to tell it again. I knew a dude that was a firefighter, okay? I knew of a guy that was a firefighter. He lived in Pittsburgh, California, right? His wife, I'm gonna say this, she had some tickle bitties too. His wife decided that she didn't want to be with his ass no more. She was done with him. She didn't have no time for him no more. There was another dude she was interested in. She fell in love with the dude. He was still kind of broke down bad. He was in firefighter school. She cut his ass off. Brother goes to firefighter school, finished top of his class. He motivated. He had to move back in with his mom. He grinded his ass off, worked overtime, bought a new house, got with a better looking chick, got married, remarried to her, had a baby. What happened to her? That chick went on with this older dude from Oakland. He was dusty. He was broke. They was living in the struggle apartment in West Oakland. She was paying all the bills, taking care of her kid and the dude. Now she had her kid around the dude all the time. Now once partner got up and he had a new baby, then it was a problem. All of a sudden she didn't want to let the kids hang around the new mom and all that, the stepmom and all that. Why? Because she's bitter. Ain't nothing going on out here in these streets for a woman that's been married for 16, 17 years and you got to get back out there. And the fact that a lot of men these days is not really checking for wives all like that. Like Bobby Athoff also had that same problem. She went out there and was getting clapped, living her life, living her best life. And then it's too easy for a dude that if you got problems, he just drop you. If you got 2 kids or 3 kids, and you get into a relationship with a boyfriend, y'all been dating for 6-7 months, and you start giving him them same problems that you might have given your husband is invested in you. He loves you. He ain't gonna leave you like that. But somebody like this, what? I'm tired of you. I ain't gotta deal with you. I'm out. Dudes these days, they got too many opportunities. The kind of men that these women want, many opportunities. They ain't gonna put up with that if they don't have to. Why would you? Why would any man put up with something that they don't have to? If we're gonna be honest. Most men historically are not gonna do that. So you're going to lose what you got. The grass is greener than where you watered it. And Tasha K, she shouldn't have put out Corey Hardrick out there like that, but he's the only one that's going to put up with Tia Mowry the way she is. Because he can accept it. He like it. A lot of men is not willing to live Tia Mowry's life. Tia Mowry not going to sacrifice for no man right now. She want a man that's okay with how she do things. No man that got money is going to be okay with how she does things. And also Corey Hardrick has become more attractive. He has become more attractive to her because without her, he was able to achieve some more things. So obviously she gonna want him back, if this is true. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Ashley Jackson back at it again. The episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.